Chosen one. A high-level contact is about to relocate you. They spotted your gifts. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. This ancient saying reminds us that life moves with divine timing, not coincidence. On spiritual wisdom, today's message is no exception. If you've been feeling the pressure, sensing that something big is on the horizon, you're right. A shift is coming. Someone powerful has recognized your light, and the universe is preparing to place you exactly where your gifts will not just survive, but thrive. As you listen, consider this. Are you ready to step into the place you've been spiritually prepared for? Drop a comment below, "I'm ready to rise," if this resonates with you, and share your thoughts so we can grow together in wisdom and alignment. Chapter 1. Feeling the shift before it happens. Your spirit sensed the change long before anything in your external world shifted. That subtle feeling of unease, the quiet discomfort in once familiar places, wasn't just emotional fatigue, it was divine foresight. When you began feeling disconnected from routines, environments, or people that used to feel like home, it was a sign, not of something going wrong, but of your soul preparing you for something greater. Spiritual awakening often begins with that inner restlessness, that knowing without explanation, that pull towards something unseen but deeply felt. As this energy built within you, so did the signs around you. Seemingly random patterns started showing up: specific numbers, recurring dreams, unexpected invitations. Places you had never considered before began to call to you, and new creative communities quietly echoed your name. These weren't coincidences. They were spiritual confirmations. Even though fear tried to anchor you to what was safe, and doubt whispered reasons to stay where you were, your inner knowing kept speaking louder. It said, "Expansion is coming." That expansion is now taking shape in the form of a high-level figure, someone guided to you by divine design. They didn't just stumble into your life. They were led by the same forces that have been guiding your awakening. This person carries influence, clarity, and vision. And more importantly, they see your light clearly. They recognize in you what you've known all along, but may have struggled to fully own: that your gifts are rare and your calling is real. There's something about their presence that feels aligned, authentic, as if your soul had been waiting for this moment, this connection. This isn't the time to shrink or retreat. Everything in your spirit knows the truth. This is the moment to step forward. The discomfort you felt wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to wake you. You were being prepared to be seen, to be moved, to be placed in an environment that will nourish the depth of who you truly are. Spiritual awakening doesn't just bring you peace, it brings you into alignment. And when you're aligned, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right places begin to show up with clarity. Let yourself rise into it. Let the shift happen. The invitation to relocate physically, emotionally, or spiritually is not random. It's divine. Trust what your spirit knew before your eyes could see. You are not being uprooted. You are being replanted in richer soil. The figure who has entered your life is not just a contact. They are a catalyst. This is your season of movement, not because you chased it, but because you were chosen for it. Have you ever felt that inner nudge before life shifted? If you've experienced these divine signals, restlessness, synchronicities, or meeting the right person at the right time, share your story in the comments below. Let's inspire each other on this path of spiritual awakening. And if you're feeling the pull, but haven't stepped forward yet, comment, "I'm ready for the shift," so we can move into this new season together. Chapter 2. Being hidden was preparation. For years, you carried the quiet ache of feeling overlooked, your contributions unseen, your gifts unrecognized. But this was not neglect. This was a divine strategy of intentional shielding placed around you by your spiritual guardians. They knew that premature exposure could damage the very essence of what makes you powerful. They protected you from the eyes that might envy, from environments that could drain your light before it was time to shine. Every moment in the shadows was purposeful. You were not being dismissed, you were being refined. Hiddenness taught you resilience. When applause was absent and recognition never came, you still showed up. You worked in silence, building your craft, nurturing your soul, deepening your roots. Like a seed beneath the earth, you grew where no one could see. You were learning consistency, patience, and the strength to stand tall when the winds of life would inevitably blow. This foundation is unshakable now because it was forged in solitude. Your spiritual guardians have been orchestrating something far beyond your sight. Behind the veil, they aligned the right moments, the right connections, and now a powerful figure has noticed what others missed. This individual, guided by divine forces, has seen the brilliance that even you, at times, doubted. And they are being led to relocate you, to move you into an environment where your gifts will no longer be hidden, but will thrive, expand, and transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. The timing is precise. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every moment of frustration was part of the divine choreography. Exposure before preparation would have left you vulnerable to burnout or jealousy. But now, your spirit is ready. You've been fortified by spiritual wisdom and life's lessons, and the door that is opening cannot be closed. This is not merely relocation in the physical sense, it is spiritual elevation, a movement into spaces that match your vibration, where your gifts will be celebrated, not diminished, where you can stand fully in your power, knowing you've been prepared for such a time as this. Your guardians have been holding the space, ensuring that when you step forward, it will be onto solid ground. Trust the process. This shift is the reward of the unseen work you've done, the inner healing, the quiet prayers, the countless times you chose to believe even when there was no visible evidence. Now, your gifts will be seen, your presence will be felt, and the spiritual journey that once felt like a lonely climb is about to reveal the view from the summit. If you know your hidden season was preparation for something greater, comment below. I am ready to shine. Let's affirm together that the time for your light to be seen has arrived. Chapter 3. Outgrowing rivalries and gatekeepers. You found yourself trapped in spaces where rivalries thrived, places where others, sensing your light, attempted to dim it out of fear. These environments weren't built to nurture your spirit. They were designed to keep you small, stuck in cycles of competition that only fed the insecurities of those around you. Yet, with every silent battle you endured, you grew stronger, not because of the validation they withheld, but because of the spiritual resilience you cultivated within. Over time, you stopped seeking approval from these false gatekeepers, those who positioned themselves as the ones who could open or close doors to your destiny. Their power was always an illusion. They operated from fear, not faith. They tried to contain what they could never control, your divine purpose. You turned away from their voices and tuned into something deeper, something eternal, your own spiritual guidance. This was the moment everything began to shift. Your alignment with this higher calling was like tuning a frequency, and as your signal grew clearer, so too did the opportunities that aligned with your soul's truth. The noise of manipulation, control, and rivalry began to fade, replaced by the resonance of someone who recognized your light, not as a threat, but as a beacon. This individual, powerful in their own right and spiritually aligned, stepped forward not to restrain you, but to elevate your gifts. They came without the weight of control, without the chains of expectation, offering a space where your talents could breathe and expand. This transformation was not accidental. It was spiritual law in motion. What no longer served your growth fell away as you rose into higher alignment. You outgrew the hands that tried to hold you back. You released the need for approval from those who never had the authority to define your worth. And in doing so, you made space for the right connections, those who see you, truly see you, and offer their support without strings. The power in this journey lies in the alignment. Your spiritual evolution shifted your environment from rivalry to recognition, from blockage to blessing. The old gatekeepers are no longer part of your path because you no longer vibrate at their level. Your soul called forth someone aligned, someone capable of helping you step fully into your divine mission, not through control, but through genuine support and freedom. Are you ready to rise above rivalries and trust your divine path? If so, comment below. I trust my alignment to affirm your commitment to growth and stepping into your true power. Chapter 4. Sharpening Gifts in Private. In solitude and obscurity, you refined your gifts, away from the noise, away from the need for validation. While the world raced for recognition, you chose the sacred path of patience, where the applause of others could not distract you from the deeper work within. This was not isolation. It was intentional preparation. The quiet mastery you built in those unseen moments has formed the foundation of your spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is not simply about becoming aware. It's about transforming in the shadows so that when the light comes, you are ready to carry it with grace. The stillness you embraced allowed your talents to evolve into something more powerful than skill alone. They became an extension of your soul's purpose. And though no one watched, you showed up for yourself, for your calling, again and again. Now, something greater is stirring. The celestial allies, your spiritual guardians, ancestors, and unseen supporters have watched your dedication, your resilience. They have been orchestrating a shift, moving the unseen into alignment so that your gifts will no longer remain hidden. They are positioning you in spaces where your talents will be valued, magnified, and expanded beyond what you ever thought possible. This is the moment where preparation meets divine timing. You did not seek the spotlight, yet the spotlight is seeking you. Those aligned with your vibration mentors, communities, collaborators are beginning to notice the brilliance that was once concealed. And it is not by accident. The years of unseen effort, of sharpening your gifts in private, have made this inevitable. You are being relocated into an environment where your essence will thrive, where your light will be honored, not dimmed. But remember, this isn't just about external validation. This is spiritual recognition. Those who are meant to walk with you on this journey will not be drawn to your outward success. They will be drawn to the depth of your being, the quiet strength that comes from having done the inner work. Spiritual awakening continues in every new chapter. The visibility coming your way is not the end. It is the beginning of a new level of responsibility, a new arena for your gifts to serve. Stay rooted in what sustained you during your quiet seasons. Do not forget the practices that kept your spirit aligned when no one was watching. This is what will carry you forward as your light expands. So trust this process. Every moment spent in solitude, every hour dedicated to mastering your craft has brought you here. Your spiritual awakening has prepared you for this. The world is ready to receive your gifts, not because they need to be impressed, but because they need to be transformed by the authenticity and purpose you carry. If this message speaks to your spirit and reminds you of the quiet work you've done in the shadows, leave a like, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful insights like this. Declare your readiness for this next chapter by commenting below. I am ready to shine. Chapter 5. Breaking the Illusion of Wrong Timing. One of the greatest illusions on the spiritual path is believing that you must wait for the perfect time. This mindset holds you back, convincing you that conditions need to be ideal, that every piece must fall neatly into place before you can move forward. But divine timing operates on a very different principle. It demands obedience, not convenience. It calls you to step forward when your spirit is stirred, even if the world around you seems unprepared. This is the essence of spiritual alignment, not waiting for life to feel ready, but trusting the invisible hand, guiding you through every uncertain moment. You've felt this before, that quiet nudge in your heart, telling you it's time to act. Yet, your mind, conditioned by the world's expectations, whispered, "Not yet." But in the spiritual realm, that nudge is the only sign you need. Growth, expansion, and the unfolding of your destiny don't happen when everything is perfect. They happen when you trust enough to move, even when things seem incomplete. This trust is what separates the chosen ones from those still trapped in hesitation. You've learned to recognize these spiritual prompts and to move with them, breaking free from the illusion that timing must be perfect before your journey can advance. Consider how many times the universe has been ready to meet you, but you waited, thinking the conditions weren't right. Yet the truth is, the spiritual forces aligned the moment you chose to act. It wasn't the outer world that needed to be ready. It was your willingness to trust the process. As Lao Tzu reminds us, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That step doesn't require certainty, it requires faith. When you obey the call, even when life feels inconvenient or unclear, you activate a divine sequence. This act of faith opens doors that logic alone could never unlock. The universe responds not to your waiting, but to your willingness. Every time you step forward in trust, you affirm that you are ready for the next level. You declare that you are aligned with divine timing, not human schedules. Breaking this illusion of wrong timing is a pivotal moment on your spiritual journey. It transforms you from someone who reacts to circumstances into someone who shapes them. It allows you to move with the rhythms of the spiritual realm, trusting that every step you take is guided, even if the ground beneath your feet hasn't fully formed. You've reached a place where you understand this now. You no longer wait for external validation to confirm your readiness. You no longer need the world's approval to move forward. You trust the spiritual signs, the nudges, the synchronicities that speak directly to your soul. And in doing so, you break free from the illusion that you must wait for the perfect moment. The truth is, chosen one, the perfect moment has always been the moment you choose to trust. If this message has resonated with you today, declare your trust in divine timing. Comment below, "I step forward in faith, knowing God's timing is perfect for me." And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a word meant to guide your journey. Chapter 6. Choosing the divine over the crowd. You have faced countless tests designed to challenge your deepest need for external validation. Whether it was the expectations of family urging you to follow a safer path, the subtle pressures from co-workers pushing you toward conformity, or society itself, broadcasting its loud, relentless opinions, every force around you seemed determined to shape you into something smaller, something predictable. But you knew deep down that your spirit could not be caged by the world's limited understanding. You chose something higher. You made the courageous decision to align with the divine over seeking human approval. This was not an easy choice. At times, it left you feeling isolated, misunderstood, even judged by those closest to you. There were moments when walking this spiritual path meant walking alone. But in those silent spaces, you discovered something unshakable within yourself: integrity. A spiritual integrity that refused to bend under the weight of opinions or social pressure. Every time you resisted the urge to seek validation from others, you proved not to them, but to yourself and your spiritual guardians, that your loyalty lies with your purpose, not with public applause. This integrity did not go unnoticed. Your spiritual watchers, those celestial allies assigned to guide your journey, have been observing. They've seen your silent battles and your quiet victories. They witnessed you choosing authenticity when it would have been easier to blend in. These moments, though invisible to the world, have been recorded in the divine realm. Each choice has amplified your spiritual light, proving that you are not here for approval, you are here for alignment. And this alignment, this unwavering loyalty to your divine purpose, becomes a beacon. It draws toward you the right people, the right opportunities, those that recognize and honor your gifts. This process of spiritual refinement, of choosing the divine over the crowd, has strengthened you. It has stripped away the need for surface-level validation and rooted you in something eternal. Though the crowd may never understand the depth of your journey, the divine does. The struggles you've faced, the loneliness you've endured, and the decisions you've made in secret have prepared you for the doors that are about to open. Your watchers know your heart, and they are preparing the next stage of your path, one that aligns with the magnitude of your calling. Choosing the divine over the crowd was never about rejecting others. It was about accepting the fullness of who you are. In doing so, you've honored your purpose, magnified your spiritual integrity, and stepped into a destiny that no crowd could ever give you. If this message speaks to your spirit today, affirm it with faith. I choose divine alignment over human approval. My purpose is guided by a higher calling. Type it in the comments and let your watchers, both seen and unseen, know where you stand. And if this resonates with your journey, like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these powerful insights. Chapter 7. Relocation unlocks the next level. The divine relocation has arrived. This is not an escape from your current circumstances, nor is it an attempt to avoid challenges. It is a sacred movement, orchestrated by the spiritual forces guiding your life, designed specifically to align you with your higher purpose. This shift places you in an environment prepared to nurture your gifts and expand your essence. It is the next stage in your spiritual awakening, a repositioning that will activate the fullness of who you are destined to become. You felt the signs, the restlessness, the sense of no longer fitting where you are, the inner knowing that your current environment can no longer hold the magnitude of your potential. These feelings are not coincidences. They are spiritual confirmations that the season has shifted. What once sustained you is no longer sufficient for your growth. A divine appointment is calling you forward, asking you to trust even when the road ahead is unclear. You do not need to know every detail. You only need to follow the alignment. Trust is the foundation of this transition. Spiritual awakening is never about having all the answers. It's about moving in faith. Just as a seed does not question where it is planted, you are not called to question why this move is necessary. The Watchers, your spiritual guardians, have observed your journey, witnessed your trials, and confirmed that you are ready for this elevation. You have passed the tests of patience, integrity, and resilience. You remained steadfast when the world demanded you conform. You stayed true to your inner calling when it would have been easier to follow the crowd. Now, you are being relocated, not for survival, but for expansion. This move will activate your next level, positioning you among those who will honor your gifts and contribute to their growth. You will find yourself surrounded by individuals who respect your journey and amplify your light, not diminish it. They will see the work you've done, the strength you've cultivated, and they will meet you at that level. This is the promise of spiritual alignment, that when you leave behind what no longer serves your soul, you make room for connections and environments that are truly aligned with your divine mission. You are stepping into a space where your gifts will be recognized, where your essence will not only be seen, but celebrated. The discomfort of this transition is simply the soul shedding the familiar to make room for the extraordinary. This is the nature of spiritual awakening. It calls you higher, often beyond what feels comfortable or known. Yet, in that unknown space, miracles unfold. The divine relocation is not about distance, it's about alignment. When you feel the call, follow it. When the inner nudge tells you it's time to move, trust it. You are being placed exactly where your gifts will flourish and where your purpose will be fulfilled. If you're ready to step into the space that was always meant for you, declare it today. Comment below, "I trust the divine relocation," to affirm your readiness and inspire others to trust their journey too. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom so you never miss a message aligned with your purpose. As you move forward, remember, divine timing is never wrong. Trust the process, stay open to the signs, and know that your gifts are being recognized in places you can't yet see. A powerful shift is unfolding, and soon you'll find yourself exactly where you are meant to thrive. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need this encouragement, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more insights to guide your journey. And make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next step on your path. Stay blessed. Chosen one, your time is coming. Chosen ones, you cannot eat everything. Beware. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. Hippocrates. Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom. Have you ever felt spiritually heavy or disconnected after eating certain foods? That unease you feel isn't random, it's a divine signal. In today's video, we'll uncover the hidden ways your diet could be dimming your light and blocking your soul's mission. If you're a chosen one, what you consume matters more than you think. Watch closely, reflect deeply, and don't forget to comment below. Have you ever noticed a shift in your energy after eating certain things? Let's start a powerful conversation, and if this message resonates, share it with someone on their spiritual journey. 1. Your diet is blocking your divine connection. Certain foods are quietly interfering with your divine connection, and most people have no idea it's happening. You may have felt it, an unexplained discomfort after eating, a sudden emotional dip, or even a fog that clouds your thoughts. For the chosen ones, this isn't a random occurrence. It's a sign, a signal from your body and spirit that something you're consuming is out of alignment with your higher calling. Your body is not ordinary. It is a sacred vessel designed to hold light, intuition, and divine energy. When you eat the wrong things, you're not just damaging your health, you're dimming your spiritual power. These foods may seem harmless on the surface, but many carry a vibration that is fundamentally incompatible with the elevated frequency of those undergoing a spiritual awakening. Low vibration foods, especially those heavily processed or chemically enhanced, disrupt your energetic flow. They clog your chakras, dull your intuition, and sever the clarity you need to receive divine messages. You might be praying, meditating, doing all the right spiritual things, yet still feel stuck, disconnected, or spiritually exhausted. The reason could be right in front of you on your plate. What most don't realize is that food carries memory. It holds energy. Animals raised in fear, pain, or confinement retain that suffering in their bodies. When you consume meat from such sources, you absorb that energy. For most people, this creates minor imbalances. But for you, a chosen one, this impact is magnified. It creates emotional heaviness, energetic blocks, and spiritual confusion. The solar plexus and heart chakra, in particular, are deeply affected, making it harder to manifest your desires and to hear your soul's inner voice. Even beyond meat, many everyday foods are designed to dull awareness. Excessive sugar, artificial flavors, preservatives, and processed oils interfere with your nervous system, weaken your aura, and disrupt your natural energetic rhythm. This doesn't just lead to physical fatigue, it numbs your spirit. You may feel unmotivated, uninspired, or even anxious without realizing the root cause is what you're eating. This is why chosen ones often experience a deeper sensitivity to food. You may have noticed certain meals leaving you restless, drained, or strangely emotional. It's not about diet trends or temporary cleanses. It's about spiritual survival. You are being called to eat with awareness, to choose nourishment that supports your awakening rather than sabotaging it. When you begin to fuel your body with high-frequency foods, fresh fruits, vegetables, seeds, clean water, and life-giving plants, you begin to feel the difference almost immediately. Your thoughts sharpen. Your sleep deepens. Your dreams become more vivid. Your inner guidance becomes more reliable. The divine connection that once felt distant begins to flow again, as if a blocked channel has finally been cleared. Food is not just matter, it is energy. And every bite you take is either raising you or pulling you back. As a chosen one, your path requires clarity, vitality, and divine alignment. You cannot afford to eat carelessly. What you consume is either empowering your mission or quietly canceling it. Your spiritual awakening demands that you be intentional with what you allow into your body. Because your body is not only your home, it is your antenna, your altar, your bridge to the divine. Are you ready to reclaim your spiritual power and awaken your divine connection? If so, comment below. I choose purity to show your commitment to aligning your diet with your higher purpose. 2. The spiritual war inside your body. Your body is not just flesh and blood, it is a sacred spiritual temple designed to carry divine energy. But in today's world, that temple is under silent siege. There is a spiritual war taking place inside your body, and the enemy comes not with swords or loud alarms, but in the form of food, modified, processed, and engineered to disconnect you from your higher self. For the chosen ones, those with heightened spiritual sensitivity, this battle is even more intense. Your soul came to awaken, to align with divine purpose, but that awakening is being blocked by what's on your plate. Much of the food circulating today is not meant to nourish, it's meant to numb. Genetically altered substances, artificial additives, chemically preserved snacks, they are not just damaging your physical health, they are draining your spiritual power. And while most people consume these things without concern, you may notice something different. After certain meals, you feel tired, heavy, mentally foggy, or emotionally off-center. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual interference. You may have noticed that your intuition has become quieter, your manifestations slower, and your inner clarity less vibrant. Despite your commitment to prayer, meditation, or conscious living, you still feel stuck in a cycle of spiritual fatigue. Why? Because your energy field is being disrupted. The chosen ones carry a high vibrational blueprint. When that frequency is invaded by low vibration substances, the results show up as energetic blockages, especially around the solar plexus and third eye. These areas are key to your intuition, your divine voice, and your ability to manifest with ease. Once blocked, it becomes harder to discern truth, hear divine guidance, or act with spiritual confidence. Every bite you take carries energy. Food is not neutral. It is charged with frequencies from its origin. Animals raised in fear and slaughtered in panic carry the imprint of suffering. When you consume that, you inherit that vibration. Foods created in labs, rather than by nature, often lack the life force that chosen ones depend on to stay aligned with divine flow. This is why your body reacts. This is why your spirit resists. You weren't designed to consume what was made to control. There's a reason you've always felt different, even in your dietary preferences. There's a reason why you feel uncomfortable with certain foods, even if everyone around you eats them without issue. You are not meant to follow the crowd. You are meant to lead in consciousness. What you eat either nourishes your awakening or delays it. And many of the foods today are designed specifically to delay spiritual awakening, to keep powerful souls like you asleep, passive, and disconnected. This war is subtle, but it is real. It appears as cravings, fast food addictions, cultural traditions that normalize toxic consumption. But behind it all is a deeper agenda to keep divine beings from stepping fully into their purpose. When your body is burdened with heavy, lifeless food, your energy is dulled, your light dimmed. And in that state, you are easier to distract, to delay, and to divide from your true path. But awareness is power. Once you understand this battle, you can reclaim your temple. Eating clean, natural, high-vibration foods isn't just a health trend, it's a spiritual discipline. Chosen ones are called to a higher standard because their mission is higher. Listen to your body when it tells you something isn't right. That discomfort, that tiredness, that inner resistance after eating, that is your spiritual intelligence alerting you. Protect your vibration. Protect your power. What you eat is either anchoring you in divine alignment or pulling you away from it. The spiritual war inside your body begins with what you allow into your temple. And for the chosen ones, nothing is casual, not even food. If you're ready to reclaim your divine energy and protect your sacred temple from spiritual sabotage, comment below, "I guard my temple." Let this be your first step in winning the war within. 3. You are being targeted differently. You are being targeted differently. That's not a metaphor. It's a spiritual reality hiding in plain sight. While others consume modern foods and continue on with their lives unaffected, you, as a chosen one, feel the disruption almost immediately. It's not in your head, it's in your spirit. These processed, altered, chemically infused foods are not just affecting your physical body, they're interfering with your divine frequency. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's your spiritual indicator, your inner alarm system. And every time you ignore it, you dull a little more of the light you were sent to bring into this world. Food today has changed. It's no longer simply nourishment, it's been hijacked. You're not just eating for hunger, you're eating information, vibration, and energy. Genetically modified organisms, artificial flavors, and preservatives might pass unnoticed in the bodies of others, but in yours, they cause deep energetic interference. That meal you thought was just convenient? It carried frequencies that don't align with your spiritual calling. And because your body is more porous, more open, and more energetically tuned than the average person, the impact is far greater. You're not just digesting calories, you're absorbing an agenda. It shows up in small, creeping ways. After certain meals, you feel more tired than you should, more emotionally flat, or spiritually disconnected. Your intuition fades, your prayers feel blocked, your inner peace gets disturbed. That's not just bad digestion, it's divine interruption. Your spiritual gifts, which once flowed so clearly, become murky. The visions, the clarity, the knowing suddenly, they're all harder to reach. And while the world around you keeps eating without pause, you're left wondering why you can't. The answer is simple. You were never meant to. What they can consume without consequence, you cannot because your calling is different. Your body was designed as a temple, a sacred place where the divine communicates, activates, and empowers. But what happens when the temple is filled with toxicity? It becomes harder to hear God's voice, harder to feel your mission. Your frequency lowers, and you become more vulnerable to attack, confusion, and delay. That's exactly what the enemy wants: to disrupt your alignment through what seems harmless, not through big sins or dramatic events, but through the unnoticed daily decisions like what you choose to put on your plate. That's why your spiritual system rebels. You might think you're overreacting, but your energy knows. Your chakras tighten, your thoughts spiral, your mood drops. All of it is your spirit sounding the alarm. And ignoring it doesn't make it stop. It only deepens the disconnect. Every compromised bite is a step away from clarity, from power, from purpose. And the most dangerous part? You get used to the fog. You normalize the disconnection. Until one day, you forget how clear things used to be. There's a reason your body reacts the way it does. It's divine protection in disguise. You're not being punished, you're being preserved. Because your role is too important to be diluted by food created to dull the masses. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to break patterns, shift atmospheres, and bring light. That mission requires discipline. And yes, even in your diet. Because when your vessel is clean, your discernment sharpens. When your energy is high, your spiritual gifts return with force. And when your body aligns with your calling, nothing can stop the flow of divine power through you. Stay connected with our spiritual family by subscribing to our channel. Here, we uncover the hidden truths affecting the chosen and guide you toward energetic alignment and divine clarity. You are not alone in this. Your sensitivity is a sign of your spiritual depth. Remember, you were never meant to fit in. You were chosen to awaken. 4. Awakening begins with eliminating specific foods. What you eat is either fueling your spiritual awakening or quietly shutting it down. For chosen ones, this truth runs even deeper. Your body isn't just a physical vessel, it's a finely tuned receiver of divine frequencies. When you consume heavy, processed, or energetically dead food, you are not only dulling your mind, but blocking your soul's ability to hear divine instructions. This isn't a matter of diet culture, it's a matter of destiny. Every bite carries a vibration, and not all vibrations belong in the temple of the chosen. Certain foods act like spiritual toxins. While others eat freely without consequence, you may feel a lingering heaviness, mental fog, or emotional instability after consuming specific meals. That discomfort is not imaginary. It's divine communication. Your spirit is trying to tell you something. The wrong foods can close your energy centers, disrupt your intuition, and delay your breakthrough. It's not punishment, it's protection. Your soul knows what it needs to stay aligned, and it will use your physical body to send warnings when you go off course. Miriam had been meditating for years, desperate for clarity, but always felt like something was off. When she removed chemically processed foods and factory-farmed meat, something shifted within just 5 days. Her dreams returned with vivid force, and her ability to sense divine presence intensified. Raphael, once a confident healer, began to feel drained and lost. He assumed it was spiritual warfare, but when he cut out fast food, excess sugar, and heavy dairy, his energy came rushing back. That very night, he received long-awaited answers through a dream. These transformations weren't accidents. They were the result of purification. The truth is, food is not neutral. It is energy. It is a memory. It carries the imprint of everything it has touched: soil, suffering, chemicals, intention. When you ingest it, you take that energy into your system. For those on the path of spiritual awakening, this means that consuming low-frequency food has consequences that go beyond digestion. It blocks insight. It clouds discernment. It cuts you off from the quiet whisper of your higher calling. But when you begin choosing food that is alive, clean, and aligned with nature, your body becomes a clear channel. Your intuition sharpens. Your dreams return. You don't need to follow a strict rule book. You just need to listen. Your body is already speaking. That fatigue after a meal, that mood swing, that sudden lack of motivation, it's not just physical, it's spiritual. And the more you ignore it, the more your inner voice fades into background noise. The moment you start removing what no longer serves you, your soul takes notice. You'll begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more in tune with your divine rhythm. The plate in front of you is more than a meal. It's a message, a choice, a test of awareness. Not everything that is edible is meant for your path. Some foods are spiritually coded to keep you asleep, disconnected, and distracted. As a chosen one, you must begin to eat with intention. What you allow into your body either supports your elevation or delays it. If your gifts feel stagnant, if your prayers seem unheard, if your purpose feels blurry, start with your diet. Sometimes, the divine breakthrough you're waiting for is hidden in the simplicity of what you're willing to give up. If this message has opened your eyes, drop a comment of faith below. I choose spiritual clarity over cravings. My awakening begins today. 5 specific food categories that block spiritual power. Meat from animals that have lived in suffering carries more than just nutrients. It carries spiritual residue. When you consume meat from animals raised in fear, anxiety, and confinement, you absorb the trauma embedded in their cells. That energy transfers into your body and begins to block key spiritual centers, especially the solar plexus and heart chakras. These blockages confuse your emotions, weaken your inner clarity, and sabotage your ability to manifest. What you may think is just heaviness or moodiness after eating is actually the weight of energetic contamination. For chosen ones, whose energy fields are more sensitive, this effect is magnified. Eating such meat distances you from divine alignment, slowly cutting you off from your higher self. Modified grains and gluten are another hidden spiritual trap. Modern wheat, altered through genetic engineering and aggressive farming, creates a fog over the third eye and crown chakra. These are the gateways to intuition and divine wisdom. When blocked, you lose your spiritual perception, your inner sight dims, and the world feels dull, disconnected. Gluten interferes with the pineal gland, your spiritual antenna, rendering you unable to receive the subtle signals from the divine. Once you eliminate gluten, many of these blocks begin to dissolve. Colors become brighter, your intuition sharpens, your dreams become clearer. The veil lifts, and you remember who you really are. Dairy from industrial sources might seem harmless, but energetically, it's thick with interference. It contains synthetic hormones and energetic frequencies of pain from the animals it came from. This forms a kind of etheric mucus that dulls your energetic system. Your chakras, especially the heart and throat, become coated in stagnation. You may struggle to speak your truth, to feel unconditional love, or to connect with divine emotions. The thymus gland, responsible for spiritual immunity, gets disrupted, making you more emotionally fragile and energetically exposed. This isn't just about physical health. It's about your spiritual stability being compromised without you even knowing it. Artificially altered foods are among the most dangerous for the spiritually aware. These are the products of manipulation foods that have been genetically tampered with, chemically engineered, or vibrationally distorted. They may look, smell, and even taste normal, but their frequency is disharmonic. When consumed, they disrupt your auric field, reversing your energetic polarity. This causes disorientation, spiritual confusion, and disconnection from divine truth. You may feel lost, numb, or unable to ground your spiritual practices. Manifestation becomes nearly impossible because your frequency is no longer aligned with the vibration of creation. Energy protection fails, and you become vulnerable to psychic noise and energetic attacks. Additives and synthetic compounds found in processed foods are perhaps the most silent yet potent spiritual blockers. These substances have the power to shut down your third eye and crown chakra for up to 72 hours. For 3 days, your intuition weakens, your prayers feel empty, and divine signs become harder to recognize. For chosen ones, who are already more in tune with spiritual dimensions, this suppression can feel like being spiritually blind. And yet, mainstream science dismisses it, keeping the truth hidden. But your soul knows. It feels the dullness, the disconnection, the subtle grief of losing contact with the divine. Every bite you take is either feeding your light or dimming it. Every food choice is an energetic contract, either aligning you with your higher path or pulling you deeper into spiritual fatigue. If this message has opened your eyes to the hidden spiritual impact of everyday foods, comment below. I choose spiritual clarity. Your body is sacred, and what you consume shapes your energy. Let us know you're on this path of awareness by leaving a comment, and if this truth resonates with you, like, share, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you more wisdom to elevate your spiritual journey. 6. The ancient knowledge behind this revelation. Thousands of years ago, the chosen ones understood something we've forgotten. Food was never just about survival or taste. It was spiritual fuel. Their diets were intentional, sacred, and energetically aligned with divine principles. They knew that what entered the body didn't just affect the flesh, it shaped the soul. They followed specific dietary laws to maintain clarity, power, and divine connection, consuming only what kept them aligned with higher realms. These laws weren't superstition, they were spiritual protocols. Every meal was an act of devotion, a tool to preserve their access to spiritual insight and divine guidance. But over time, those in control of this world began to fear the power of awakened individuals. So, a slow and calculated manipulation began. Foods were altered. Natural ingredients were replaced with chemicals, preservatives, and synthetic compounds. It wasn't only to cut costs or preserve shelf life, it was to dull spiritual awareness. The deeper motive was to disconnect you from the divine, to suppress your spiritual capacity and block your celestial assignment. While the masses ate freely, unaware, the chosen began to feel uneasy because your spiritual DNA still remembers. The discomfort, brain fog, low energy, and spiritual disconnection you feel after certain meals is not random. It is ancient memory rising. Your body is trying to alert you to what your soul already knows. This food is not aligned with who you truly are. When you consume meat from animals that suffered, or processed food stripped of life, you're not just digesting matter, you're absorbing energy, pain, fear, confusion. And those energies begin to settle in your body like static interference. clouding your mind, weakening your discernment, and cutting off your ability to hear divine instruction. The connection between food and frequency is real, and for a chosen one, it's critical. Your intuition, your dreams, your inner voice, they all depend on the clarity of your energetic field, which is heavily influenced by what you eat. Many chosen men, between the ages of 30 and 65, feel the weight of responsibility increasing. You're being called not just to live, but to lead, to build, protect, and elevate others. That calling requires vision, strength, and divine clarity. But if your energy is being drained by unnatural foods, your spiritual weapons become dull. You might find yourself constantly tired, emotionally reactive, or spiritually numb. This isn't age, it's spiritual interference. The very foods you've accepted as normal may be sabotaging your mission. You were not made to consume like the rest. You were made to discern, to listen, and to choose consciously. The path back begins with awareness. Listen to your body. Notice the foods that leave you foggy, irritable, or disconnected. Begin removing them. Replace them with life-giving, high-frequency nourishment foods that restore, energize, and reconnect. Reclaim sacred rituals. Drinking clean water with gratitude. Fasting not just for health, but for clarity. Blessing your meals before you consume them. These practices are not outdated. They are ancient keys to unlocking divine energy. Your spiritual DNA is not broken, it is awakening. And it's speaking through your cravings, your sensitivities, and your discomfort. Honor that signal. Protect your vessel. Because not everything that is edible is meant to be eaten by those who are spiritually chosen. If you're still with us on this journey into ancient truth, comment below. I remember the ancient way. Your words help us reconnect with the wisdom that was once hidden and build a stronger spiritual community together. 7. Powerful spiritual transformations reported. Eliminating all 5 major food groups may seem extreme to the average person, but for those undergoing a deep spiritual awakening, it can trigger a powerful energetic transformation. Many who've embraced this path speak of clear, unmistakable downloads, moments of insight that arrive with precision, not as random thoughts, but as direct communication from higher realms. These insights are no longer filtered through a fog of heavy, processed foods, but received in clarity, as though the divine is speaking directly into the soul. As these channels open, manifestation becomes more potent. Without the energetic interference of low-vibration foods, intentions take form with surprising speed. Thoughts begin to align with outcomes, and actions flow from purpose rather than confusion. The inner resistance fades, making space for divine orchestration to work unhindered. What once felt like struggle becomes ease, as if the universe has finally tuned into your frequency, or more accurately, you've finally tuned into it. One of the most visible changes is aura restoration. The energetic field that surrounds the body, once dulled by inflammation and toxins, begins to shine again. This radiant field not only protects, but also magnetizes. Strangers may notice something different about your presence, often without knowing why. You no longer carry the energetic weight of other beings, especially those raised and slaughtered in fear because you've chosen to step away from consuming their suffering. Your aura reflects peace, clarity, and strength. Simultaneously, the pineal gland, a sacred gateway in the center of the brain, begins to awaken, often called the third eye. This gland has long been associated with spiritual vision, intuitive knowing, and multidimensional awareness. Yet in modern life, it's commonly calcified by additives, sugar, and chemical-laced food. When these influences are removed, many report a reactivation of this spiritual center. Dreams become prophetic, gut instincts sharpen, and moments of synchronicity multiply. The mind no longer feels trapped in logic alone. It opens to divine intelligence. The most subtle yet profound shift is the development of energetic immunity. This is not about physical sickness, but rather the ability to remain unaffected by spiritual contamination. When the body is clean and the spirit aligned, you naturally repel what does not resonate. Toxic relationships fall away, negative environments lose their grip, and your emotional boundaries grow stronger. You don't need to fight for peace. It surrounds you because you've become the embodiment of higher frequency. All of this begins with one seemingly simple but deeply spiritual decision to change how you nourish your body. For the chosen ones, food is not neutral. It's a spiritual contract. Either it supports your ascension or it delays it. The choice to eliminate certain foods is not deprivation, it is liberation. It is remembering who you are on a soul level and aligning every cell in your body with that truth. When the vessel is pure, the mission becomes unstoppable. Leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful content like this. Let your transformation begin today. Type in the comments, "I am ready for spiritual clarity and divine manifestation." 8. Your divine potential depends on daily choices. Every food you consume is either grounding you in dense energy or lifting you into higher spiritual frequencies. It's not just about taste or tradition, it's about transformation. For the chosen ones, meals are not just physical experiences, they are spiritual rituals. Your body isn't a machine, it's a sacred temple. And the energy you put into it determines how clearly you can hear divine instructions, how brightly your aura shines, and how powerfully your purpose flows through you. What you eat can open your spiritual gifts or quietly shut them down. This is why, while others can eat anything without noticing a shift, you feel the impact deeply. You may feel drained, unfocused, or spiritually disconnected after certain foods. That's not your imagination, it's your soul reacting. Your spiritual system is designed to be sensitive because your role is different. You are called to ascend, to lead, to awaken, and that requires clarity, alignment, and vibrational purity. The wrong foods act like static in a divine broadcast, blocking messages meant only for you. Every bite is a choice between connection or confusion. This daily decision carries profound spiritual weight. When you consume high-frequency foods, whole, natural, and alive, you're not just nourishing your body, you're activating your inner light. Your chakras align more easily. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your dreams return with meaning. You become lighter, freer, and more in tune with the divine. But when you consume what is lifeless, processed, or tainted with chemicals and suffering, your energy dims, your inner guidance grows quiet. You begin to question your path, not because you're lost, but because your temple is clouded. The ancient words ring true. Let food be thy medicine. And that medicine isn't just for your body, it's for your mission. You cannot walk in divine power while feeding yourself what disconnects you from that power. The same energy that fuels your cells fuels your calling. When you eat with awareness, you become spiritually sharper, emotionally balanced, and magnetically aligned with the will of the universe. This is the foundation of spiritual strength. You were not meant to blend in. You were born to carry light. That means you must be selective, not out of fear, but out of honor for the path you've been given. Spiritual elevation requires energetic discipline. That's why your meals matter. That's why your discomfort after eating certain things is not just digestion. It's divine communication. Your body speaks the language of spirit, and it's telling you what serves your mission and what sabotages it. Spiritual power thrives in purity, and every day, through every meal, you are either rising into your divine design or falling back into energetic noise. This is not about perfection, but about intention. Choose food that fuels your ascension. Choose energy that honors your temple. Choose connection over comfort. The higher you go, the more sacred your discipline must become. 9. Immediate shifts when the diet is cleansed. As soon as the diet is cleansed, something sacred begins to shift within. This isn't a delayed reward, it's immediate. Who are spiritually sensitive often report vivid dreams that feel more like revelations than random thoughts. These dreams carry messages, visions, warnings, and spiritual guidance that were previously buried under layers of processed foods, toxins, and distractions. The cleaner the vessel, the clearer the signal. What was once silent becomes loud. The dream world opens, acting as a sacred space where your higher self, angels, and divine energy can finally reach you without static. These inner awakenings don't stop at night. During the day, synchronicities begin to show up more often and more powerfully. You start noticing patterns, repeating numbers, meaningful encounters, signs that seem tailor-made for you. They're not coincidences. They're spiritual confirmations. They're evidence that your frequency has risen, that your energy field is no longer clogged by low vibrational foods. Your system is finally clear enough to pick up on the divine rhythm of life. This is the spiritual realm responding to your alignment. It's a dialogue between your soul and the universe. At the same time, your intuition sharpens like a blade finally honed after years of dullness. You begin to just know things about who to trust, where to go, what to avoid. You can feel the energy in a room before a word is spoken. You start to notice that your gut instincts are no longer shaky suggestions, but strong, clear inner commands. That's because your spirit is no longer being muffled by substances that block your internal guidance system. When your temple is clean, the voice of God within becomes unmistakable. But perhaps the most beautiful shift of all is the deep and quiet peace that begins to bloom in your soul. There is no longer a restless hunger for external validation or numbing habits. You start to feel grounded, centered, and anchored in a sense of purpose that feels ancient and unshakable. You know you are here for a reason. That reason becomes more obvious when your physical and spiritual energies are no longer in conflict. Food was never just food. It has always been fuel or interference. And when you remove the interference, clarity takes its place. These shifts are not theoretical. They're spiritual experiences unfolding in real time. And they confirm a truth many ignore. The body and soul are not separate. What you eat is either empowering your spiritual evolution or delaying it. For the chosen ones, cleansing the diet is not about trends, image, or health alone. It's about spiritual precision. It's about honoring the sacred assignment placed on your life. Because the calling is high and the preparation must match. To affirm your alignment with higher clarity and divine insight, declare your commitment. Comment below, "I choose clarity," to honor your spiritual journey and inspire others to embrace the power of a cleansed path. Let's walk this awakening together. Like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next revelation. So remember, chosen ones, not everything that looks harmless is meant for you. What you consume affects not just your body, but your spirit, your energy, and your divine mission. Protect your temple, stay aware, and trust your inner knowing when something feels off. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more powerful insights. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos designed to elevate your journey. Stay aligned, stay awakened, and your spiritual path matters.